Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Neuro-Inclusive Dog Pod, the podcast where we bridge the gap between neurodivergence and the dog world. As usual, I've got another fantastic guest for you guys to speak to, so I'll let them introduce themselves. Hi, Vanessa. Welcome to the podcast. Could you start by introducing yourself and telling everybody a little bit about what you do?
Hi, I'm Vanessa Barber. I'm the founder of Wag-Wagatha Christie, detective flair in canine care. And basically, I'm a dog groomer, but I like to say I'm an unconventional one. I feel a bit more like a doggy detective rather than a conventional groomer. So basically, it's behaviour-led. So it's the dog in front of you that dictates the grooming session rather than the actual preferred style or haircut. So yeah, it's very dog-led, and that's my little niche.
Amazing. I love that. I love the name as well. Very, very unique. And when I first saw you when you came up and you was like a holistic type groomer, I was like, my brain just lit up. And for my dogs and the experience they've had at the groomer, I was like, oh, I wish there was something like that around here, because it's just so needed. And because of everything I do in terms of, whether it's my coaching, it's all like down to the dog. It's behavior led, like you say. And it makes me so sad. I mean, we've had dogs that have come back with injuries and they've been scared and things like that. And our youngest dog, we can't take him to the groomers because he is nervous of people and stuff. So I've taken to just like doing that myself, which is not always the best haircut because I'm no groomer, but we get by. So having something like your services locally around us would be absolutely fantastic. So what led you down the road into grooming? What made you first get into it, and what made you choose this more holistic approach?
Yeah, well, I mean, really, it was my husband's idea. It was during the pandemic. It was just, I mean, it was a horrible time for everybody, but I had an additional horrible time
Right.
with some health issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just really, really unhappy. And I suppose it was a life-changing event. And my husband just suggested, he said, "Oh, well, you love dogs, why don't you be a dog groomer?" And I thought, oh, okay, yeah. So I looked into it. I did my training, and then very, very early on in my training, I realised, because I thought initially, oh yeah, I'm gonna be an Asian fusion specialist. I'm gonna, like dye their tails pink and do all this stuff. I have all this idea of what kind of groomer I was going to be, and then I actually did my training during the pandemic, and I realised very early on, no, I'm not going to be this type of groomer. I saw so many dogs struggling through the process, but it was actually one of the tutors there. She'd sort of said to me, "You've got a very calming effect on the dog." Had I heard of holistic grooming? Had I heard of Stephanie Zickman, who's the founder of the Holistic Grooming Academy? And I hadn't. So I looked it up, and basically I finished my traditional grooming qualification and immediately started on the level 5 diploma, which is basically all about dogs, how they communicate, how they learn, identifying calming signals, stress, scientific back approaches that alleviate the stress and what have you. Oh, basically I just went down a complete wormhole and I've never really come out.
Yeah.
So I went in with certain ideas and then I came out, and I think because of my own experiences as well, I think I was just so tuned into all these dogs who weren't handling it, and I was just like, there's got to be a different way. And and the holistic side of it, really, I found my home, I think, really.
Yeah, amazing. So for anybody listening who may not understand the differences between what you do and what like a traditional group is, can you just explain that a little bit more? So what, if people are going in expecting just to drop the dogs off at the groomers and come back with this fantastic haircut, how does your service differ from that?
Yeah, I mean, traditional grooming, I always like to say, you trained for the haircut, so you train for the best outcome for the haircut, which isn't always the best outcome necessarily for the dog, even though the groomers aren't doing anything that they won't have been trained to do. If your dog can't cope with that, it's not very good for the dog or for the groomer, basically. So I sort of put a lot of work into finding the right customer so that they realise that it's not about you drop your dog off and you pick them up 2 hours later and they're fully groomed. It's basically a lot of assessing to see what your dog can actually, what they're happy with, what we need to desensitize them to. So it's a whole different approach, really. It's basically you're not going to push the dog past anything that they're unhappy with, and that they're showing signs of stress, fear, aggression. It's all signs of communication. So it's basically listening to the dog, and the haircut kind of comes into it as the dog becomes more acclimatized to the process. So
I love that. I think it's so needed, because like when I go back to when I was training dog training classes, one of the first things I taught every single handler and dog is to be okay with like wearing muzzles and things, because and one of the things I used to say is not only if a dog unfortunately gets injured or anything, then they're gonna they might react differently in pain and stuff, but also for even if you take them to the groomers, because if the dog isn't acting like the groomer wants them to act, or they're paid to do a job, aren't they, and then they want that job done, so they'll just stick a muzzle on it and then get the job done, which isn't exactly fair for the dog's welfare, emotional welfare and stuff. And even in, so one of the things I was saying is if you at least train them to be okay with wearing a muzzle, and that's a good thing, it makes that environment a little bit less stressful for them.
They don't see it as a punishment, rather than it's a cooperative thing rather than a punishment, and then they're just sort of shut down because their form of communication has gone.
This is it. And I think it's what a lot of people don't realize about grooming as well. I think we take our dogs to the groomers. I mean, obviously I know a little bit more about it with the work that I do, but people, Joe blogs say they'll take the dogs to groomers and they'll think, oh, okay, we'll come back with a lovely haircut and stuff. They don't actually think about that, what the dog's going through and the emotional well-being of the dog and stuff, because it's not really commonplace, is it? I mean, with training in general and dogs in general, we have brought them into our world and we just expect them to fit into our society, when actually what we should be doing is listening to their needs and adapting to their needs. And when you do that, when you respect the dog in front of you, and when you understand them and you learn, and you deepen that relationship, don't you? You get a lot more fulfilling experience. That's my opinion anyway. And I think taking them, yes, we might need to groom them or to cut their hair or whatever, but for me, it's one of the reasons why I literally don't take them to the groomers anymore, because the stress that they was going through, we've had a dog that was injured, or 2 dogs that was injured. And like for Quest, I've done so much with him, building him up to be okay around people and to be okay with strangers and stuff. For him, I was like that he just would not cope in a grooming setting, and it would be completely unfair on him. So like say if there was something like that, somebody around here, like with the work that you do, I'd be like, oh, amazing, because it's not so much about the groom itself, it's about eventually that's the end goal, but it's about him being okay with it and him being comfortable. And then like it's a bit like when I say about agility training and stuff, I always say that the results, the rosettes and stuff behind me, they should all just be a byproduct of that relationship you create together. It's not about it's not about the dog performing or the dog behaving a certain way. It's about that relationship and that trust and stuff that you get. So when I saw that you did this type of stuff, I was like, you definitely need to come on the podcast and make this more widespread and make more people understand that this is an option. So how do you cope with it when you get customers or clients in that maybe phone you up and want that more traditional approach? How do you cope with explaining things to them?
Yeah, I mean, it is a difficult one, because sometimes you do have, I know that my ideal customer isn't going to be the person that phones up and say how much, the first thing they ask is how much is it? And the second thing they ask is when's the next appointment? I think you're probably not going to be the customer for me, because, I try and put out there. I mean, a lot of my customers actually search and they find me because they are they're at the end of their tether. They think all, you know, hope's lost, and then they think, oh no, actually here's this other option. So they do spend a lot of time actually finding me. But yeah, for those that maybe ad hoc, they've just Googled some numbers for dog groomers and what have you. I normally explain to them, you know, have you been on my website? Have you seen my Facebook page? Do you know that I'm a holistic groomer and what that means? And the first thing, I mean, on my website, the first thing is that you have a free like assessment call. So basically it's seeing whether I can help you, whether I'm the right fit for you. You know, no pressure. It's just a general chat about what your dog circumstances are, what you're expecting. So at that point, if I think, oh, these people aren't really the best fit for me, I can refer them elsewhere. But if we think, oh no, I can do something here, this is the right fit, they come in for a meet and treat session. So we have tea or coffee. We'll come and have, I've got a sensory garden outside. So actually I have done one meet and treat outside this week, which is so lovely because the weather's been that rubbish that haven't been able to utilise that area, but I did manage to get one in this week. The dog can then sniff around all the plants. They're all herbs and dog safe plants. I've got one area that I think I've worked out why they like to sit on it, because it kind of looks a bit like a dog bed. It's a Belfast sink which I've planted with some crawling thyme, and I thought, oh, maybe it's because it's springy and you know, it's quite nice or cool or something. But then the lady said, oh no, it looks a bit like a dog bed, and I was like, oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? Up on that. They can have I do ACE-centered free work, so there's little things all around, that little activities that they can do. I can gauge how eager they are to interact with me, and if they just bound into the grooming area, you know. So that's the next thing. And if people aren't prepared to come to a meet and treat, then they're not the customer for me. So at that meet and treat, that's when really we get to, you know, I get to explain, and they start to see, oh yeah, this is totally different, and start to see the benefits. And I can really explain to them, you know, that really my ideal customer is somebody that wants to drop off a happy dog, pick up a happy dog, and what gets done in between is progress, not perfection. You know, and a lot of people, I find a lot of customers that's all they want, really. They don't want the guilt of dragging their dog into a grooming parlour, knowing the dog's upset, leaving them, feeling guilty, waiting for a phone call that they can't finish the groom, or something, an incident's happened, or so.
It is. It's amazing. Like everything that you do, I'm just like, oh, I wish every single groomer did this. And it's amazing. Like, I think once you've had that as well, it's okay. Like if you've got a happy dog that's, you know, happy and confident and quite resilient and stuff, then maybe you know, people think, oh, they don't understand this need for it. But when you've got one that's a little bit more sensitive or a little bit more anxious or underconfident, it's like, you know, those dogs still need a haircut. They still need that maintenance and care, don't they? And I think it is that. And one thing was, somebody said to me really early on in my training, they said once you understand and know dog behavior, you can never unsee it. And I'm like, yeah, that's completely true, because everywhere I look now, and it's almost like a negative thing, because everywhere you look now, I'm like seeing like stressed dogs or unhappy dogs. And especially in like the agility circuit, the amount of dogs that people think they're happy and they're not. And I'm just like, oh, it's one of those things that I'm just like, I just wish more people knew, and more people like cared as well, because you have got the side of it, whereas unfortunately humans are led by their wants and desires and their egos. And, you know, like I say, we have these dogs and they want to fit in, which is to me completely backwards. We should have these dogs as pure companions and stuff, and respect them for, you know, for what they are, really. So when it comes to holistic grooming, do you think there's any misconceptions out there, and what is it that you wish more people understood about holistic grooming?
Yeah, well, I mean, you always get the notion of people that just think it's, as my husband would put it, yogurt weaving. You know, it's sort of like it's just, but the techniques, it isn't just airy fairy, oh, let's all be nice, fluffy.
Yeah.
It's we're using techniques which have been science backed,
Yeah.
proven to work. And
Yeah.
yes, every dog won't need a holistic behaviour-led groomer.
Yeah.
And if your dog can happily go through the grooming process, then we're not against conventional groomers. We're
Yeah.
just a different service for
Yeah.
those dogs that can't. I get referred quite a lot of dogs from local groomers who, they've done what they can, but they haven't had the training that I have.
Yeah.
That's when I come in.
Yeah.
So I think, I'd like to see we're not against conventional grooming. And I think conventional grooming is coming more on board with the behaviour and the communication side of things. I think slowly
Yeah.
it is being updated. But I mean, dog grooming, it's such a big... I was so surprised at what went into the level 3 dog grooming qualification. There's so much to learn.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have spent a lot of money on their qualifications. They're constantly doing CPD.
Yeah.
We're not here to bash them and to say that they're doing it wrong. They're not doing anything that they haven't been taught to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're all here to support each other, and the service can complement each other and sit
Yeah.
side by side with each other.
Yeah.
And I think, that's where I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
And like people to understand, because I think sometimes people can get a bit defensive, thinking, oh, we think we're better than them, or we think, that we're judging them. I'm certainly not. And I know a lot of others won't be either. It's just we're doing what we do because of that's what we're doing.
Yeah. And I think
it's anybody else.
No, and I think it's about awareness, isn't it? I think, like you say, like people go to do the college courses or the, whatever courses they do. And I think it's that level of awareness that should really come from the top. And I think that's it across the board when it comes to the dog industry. It's not isolated to grooming. It's not isolated to training. It's, of course, it's an unregulated industry. I think there's so much stuff out there, and businesses are there to make money and things, but I think the actual people, the people that do that come under like criticism and under fire sometimes are the ones that they access the courses with all the good intentions, and then the courses don't give them the full picture. They're only giving them whatever their courses need to give them. And I think that's it. I think when people get into grooming, there's so much to I know very little about like the grooming, but I can imagine there's so much to learn in terms of the techniques and things and styles and stuff like that. They literally, number one, probably can't fit it all in, and number two, it would probably raise the cost of the courses, so it'd be inaccessible to a lot of people. But I do think that the responsibility comes from the top as well, doesn't it? We need to be understanding more about behavior, like going back to the agility thing. It's even there, a lot of trainers focus on the skills, and yes, you do need the skills and you need to learn how to train the actual skills, but we also need to be looking at the behavior things. And there's a lot of agility trainers that they like say they're doing nothing wrong, but they've come up through agility purely through doing agility since being a child, and then they've done well at it because they've done it since for years and years and years, and then they've left school and become a trainer because that's what they love doing, and that's kind of, but there isn't any of that formal education and awareness about behavior and all of those kind of things. So they're very, very good at agility and very good at teaching skills, but what's lacking is that behavior and that emotional side of it as well. And I think it's that, isn't it? There's a big mismatch between this actual practical skills and the actual behavior kind of things as well. So it is, it all needs a big shake up in my opinion. But when it comes to the kind of negative side of it, have you seen any problems or experienced any problems yourself, either with other groomers or with clients, in terms of having this different holistic approach?
I think I've been very lucky. I haven't personally. I think the local groomers here haven't had any negative experience with it. A lot of them refer clients on to me. The kind of dog that I thrive on are the ones that they're really quite willing to, because they just know that that's not their expertise. So it's worked really well here. But I know other groomers in other areas haven't had such a nice experience. So I know that I know that there is a bit of controversy, and I think I've had some customers who've kind of been a bit like, well, they've come to a meet and treat and they've been a bit like, I can sort of sense that maybe they're not kind of fully into it, what have you. And then when they bring their dog back, they'll say things like, oh, do you know what? I understand now. I can see how happy and how eager they are to come through the door.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of like their perception's been changed because they've noticed the difference in the dog.
Yeah.
And which is fantastic. And that's the whole, it's usually maybe males of a certain age that are a bit more skeptical than I think women are a bit more just relieved to think that somebody's listening to them, and somebody and understanding what they've been through with the dog and what the dog's been through. And I think sometimes, not everybody, but I've just had a certain customers that have been like, it's through their dog, seeing the difference in the dog, that they've been like, oh wow, no, and then it's very nice of them to actually say, I was a bit skeptical, but I can see why you do that now. And because it's nice for me to get some feedback as well. And sometimes people, I say, like they've phoned me, they've got a rescue dog, what have you, and I sort of explain to them, I say, do you want to come to a meet and treat? And they've gone, no, I don't, thanks, bye.
Wow. Yeah.
And I've been like, well, at least that saved me a bit of time and a bit of
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you almost dog, but
you almost feel sorry for the dog, don't you, in that kind of, and like I say, it's not that anybody's doing anything wrong, it's just this lack of awareness and lack of understanding. And it's it is one of those things.
You don't know that person just might have felt that they might have felt uncomfortable being in a place that they don't know,
exactly.
And felt that maybe it's a sort of captive audience and that I'll try and do a hard sell on them or what have you. You don't know the reasons, behind things. You just got to take it in your stride. And
and on that subject there, have you faced any kind of personal struggles when it comes to dealing with those kind of clients in terms of confidence or anxiety? One of the things that I knew and realized very recently, since having my late diagnosis, actually, is that one of the things I hate is confrontation. And I think for me, it's like, and it's not necessarily confrontation in an argumentative kind of way. It's when people challenge different thought patterns. And so when I was training a lot of beginner agility handlers that just wanted to come and, run the course and just have a bit of fun. And it was a kind of like having to have those conversations about, oh, maybe this isn't quite right for you. And it would depend on the personality of the people and those kind of things. That's something I had to really, really work on. So have you faced anything like that doing the work that you do?
Yeah, well, I'm very similar. I don't really like confrontation, and I do suffer with anxiety, and I'm not a hugely confident person overall. Like if I said something and then somebody came back at me to say, oh, you're wrong, or what have you, then I would doubt myself because I think, maybe I am wrong. I don't, think it through a million times. So yes, I mean, it is something that, I've been very lucky and my business has kind of grown and I've found customers. It's all been quite organic, all been quite natural, hasn't had to be forced in any way. And I have been in, situations where I think I don't necessarily need this customer, So I do feel quite lucky in that respect. But sometimes I've got what I call my inner Vera, which is my little inner critic, and she'll be chipping away going, they won't be back. They're not happy, or you haven't done this. So I always have that. And then I think, well, I've got to kind of tell myself that if a customer doesn't want to come back, is it something I've done? Is it something I've not communicated properly? Is it, so I just go through a process and say, maybe they were never really my customer in the first place, it's I try and kind of rationalize it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, think that through. And there's certain ones, there's customers I've still got now, and I know that I know the dog comes, I mean, the dog's getting old now. She's practically blind.
Oh.
And the owner's has had that many bad experiences and felt so guilty. Even he sort of like, now he leaves her with me, but I can tell he's still like lingering. He doesn't really want to go. He doesn't want to have you. And she has a whale of time. She loves it. She absolutely, you know, like, she has to come back for a little bit of a tweak because she gets a bit overexcited. But even me would be like, oh no, he's not happy. He's not, you know, and I talk myself into things, and I think, this is my own little narrative I've made up in my head, you know.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's hard, isn't it? I think it's because we care so much. We're naturally in that profession of caring about, you know, animals and people and stuff. And I think as well, for me personally, from a neurodivergent point of view, the RSD and that imposter syndrome, it's always kicking in, and like, it's just there, like on the back of your shoulder, just giving you a little tap every now and again. It is, I always talk about it, how we have our logical mind, and we have this emotional mind as well. We have to like get in touch with our wise mind in the middle, and that's where we kind of rationalize things and, you know, talk it through with someone else, because we can tell ourselves these little stories and stuff, and, you know, we can talk ourselves in or out of something, can't we? So it's really really interesting. But when turning it back to the dogs and the canine communication bit and the behavior side of it, I think that is super important. So for anybody listening that's not quite aware of how it works, could you explain a little bit about how you use that kind of knowledge in a typical session?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say to me, oh yeah, my dog's, you know, she's fine with grooming, or he's fine with grooming, and what have you. And I'll say to them, well, yes, your groomer might have said that, but unless they've had the training that I've had, they won't be picking up on everything that's telling them actually they're not that fine with it after all. So basically, I mean, for the meet and treat, when they come in, I see how confident they are in the environment, if they bound in, or if they're kind of a bit nervous, if they're relying on their guardian to sort of like encourage them in, if they're straight over the threshold into the what I call the parlour. But, you know, certain things tell me whether they're a resilient dog, whether they're not, you know, whether they're a nervous dog, whether they're underconfident, whether they're so there's also just the gait. So I could see if they're stiff, if they're arched, if they're natural, or you know, there's things like their ears. Are their ears natural? Are they back? Are they down? The position of the tail. I mean, for me, what I like to do is understand their baseline, you know. So I'll say to them, oh, you know, are they generally a panty dog? Because a lot of dogs will be panting. Some say, oh yeah, they do generally pant. And so I know, well, what's a normal pant, what's a stress pant, you know, things like where their tail position is. You know, people think, a misconception often is, if the tail's wagging, they're happy. And it's like, well, that's not really always the case. It's like, is the tail wagging, but it's low? Is it slow? I mean, obviously you can see the when they're like a helicopter and what have you, you know, but it might be that they're actually over aroused, that there's been too much excitement, and people don't realize that actually too much excitement leads to over arousal, and you know, then things can escalate because they're over aroused. They don't realize that they're tired because they're over aroused, so that their reactions might be different. So it's all the little, like the lip licks, the yawns, if they're turning away, you know, there's loads of communication that just gets missed. And the biggest one is the fool around, where people say, oh, they're kissing, oh, this is nice, they're lovely, oh, it's being affectionate. And it's like, well, okay, so yeah, some dogs are more kissy dogs and what have you, but are they fooling around because they're actually not comfortable with what you're doing to them? Or are they just a kissy dog, or do they just want a bit of fuss? You know, so it's knowing the dog and having a baseline for the dog, so that you know what's normal behavior, and you know what's when that behavior changes, which is not covered in in grooming, and so a lot of things can get missed because they don't realise, and they'll say, oh, they think that maybe a growl or a bark or a lip curl are the first signs of, them being unhappy. They've missed all the subtle calming signals that have gone beforehand, which, I would pick up on and think, oh, okay, so maybe, oh, right, it's their paws. They don't like their paws or what have you. So we can work on areas to get them comfortable.
Amazing. And it's lovely as well, I suppose, for you, because you build up that trust and that relationship with that dog as well. And I think as well, in a traditional grooming setting, I mean, yes, I know that, people probably take their dogs back to the normal, like to the regular groomers or whatever, but because they've probably got a high number of a turnover of dogs, really, I think they don't always have the capacity to understand and learn that dog inside out. But not only that, dog behavior changes from moment to moment. So even when you've got a dog you see all the time, you bring them in one time and it may be different because of all the external factors that have happened on the lead up to that visit. And that's one thing I always say. And I'm like, well, people will turn up to a competition or a training session. I'm like, it's not just about here and now, it's about the lead up to it and what's going on in the week beforehand, the days beforehand and stuff. And so
I send out emails beforehand so people, so they know if they've been to the vets or if they've been, if they've been in kennels or if they've been, certain things to say, and particularly don't feed them so many hours before or so many hours after or what have you. Things that but you still get people and I'll say, oh, she just wasn't quite herself today, blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh yeah, well, we she had her injections yesterday, or she was sick in the night, or what have you. And I'm like, would have been nice to know that beforehand. Or
this is it. And
I mean, life's busy, isn't it? Sometimes, things that are forefront in my mind aren't forefront in everybody's mind. So
and that's it. And I think it's that awareness as well, isn't it? It isn't taught at standard dog training classes. People will go to dog training classes and they focus again very much on behavior. Let's learn how to do X, Y, Z. Let's learn how to walk to heel or whatever. But they don't understand the impact of stress, and both positive and negative stress, and how it I talk about in terms of buckets and how full the bucket is. And if your dog's had a stressful period, they need time to empty that bucket, and that might mean even something like not even taking them out, not going on a walk, not doing anything for a few days. And every single dog's individual. So like say I have 3 dogs at home and their buckets all empty at different rates and things. So what one might be okay the following day, but another one might take a few days and need a little bit more calm and what have you. So it's that, like, again, it's that level of awareness that needs to be raised more. So when it comes to anybody listening who's thinking, oh, I really wish I had the confidence to run my business a little bit differently. I really want to go this way with my business, but it's kind of going against the typical norms a little bit. What advice would you give them for anybody who's wanting to just, they're on that cusp of thinking, right, I want to do it, but I just daren't?
Oh, 100%. Just go for it, because there's no harm. People will appreciate, if you get the right customers, then people will appreciate your differences. They don't want somebody that's exactly the same. They've had that. It's like, you hear about unique selling points or what have you. You as a person are your own unique selling point, and if you want to do it differently and there's a need there, you believe that there's a need for that, and this is the reason why, shout about it from the rooftops. Tell everyone, because the people that you attract will be the people that exactly you need to work with. So, I don't see it as being my business has been very much led by my own experiences, and I don't see that as a weakness. People always been told you're too sensitive, and it's like, well, okay, maybe I am, but the gift that's given me has been so amazing, and I wouldn't have this business had it not been through my experiences and through having this sensitivity, and I don't see it as a weakness at all. And I just do it, just do it, because life's hard, and why try and fit in to something that you don't believe in? If you believe in it, do it.
Yeah, definitely. I love that, and that's exactly it. And I find a lot what I do with my business coaching clients, and what I had to do with myself actually, is you have to go right back down into your own values and your own whys and stuff. And I think this is it, because what happened when I was teaching beginner agility a lot is, there's nothing wrong with that, but my values and my core beliefs about the kind of holistic approach of the dogs and the emotional well-being, it just didn't sit right with it. And although I wasn't doing anything wrong, the dogs weren't coming into any harm or anything, and we were still doing the training, and I was managing that as much as I could, and as well as balancing the owner's expectations. But I think it got to a point where I was just like, it was burning me out. I was coming home completely exhausted. I was having like a physical and emotional response to being at work. And I was like, hold on a minute. And this is why, because deep down, it wasn't sitting right with my values. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let somebody else do that. This is what we do now. And it can be hard to go against that grain, can't it? Go, right, this is me. And I think as well, it's about finding that community and finding like-minded people. That it's hard to do. It's one of the reasons I set up the Facebook community groups as well, because if I was feeling massively isolated, especially in a competitive sport like agility, where everybody's results based and everybody's like training the latest skill, training with the latest handler and stuff. And I'm like, well, no, because that's all kind of person ego centered. It's not about the dog. And I think for me, once you get that dog on board, once you understand that dog, the agility training, the training is easy, because you've built that relationship and the bond. You don't have to work on all of the skills. Like my youngest dog now, he hardly ever gets trained. We do a bit of training for obviously his physical reasons and stuff, but I don't drill his skills and stuff. We've just got that connection. Sometimes it'll go wrong, but it doesn't matter. We're having fun. We're having that relationship and that partnership, and it just makes it a lot nicer. So I think it's so important about just listening to your own self, isn't it? Because otherwise you're just going to get burnt out, and you're going to resent your job, aren't you, if you're doing something ultimately that doesn't work. Amazing. So let's flip it on its head a little bit. So we might have some neurodivergent listeners that are thinking, I know that my dog is, a bit nervous, but me, myself, I'm not confident in advocating for my dog, but I know I need to take them to the groomers. What kind of advice would you suggest for those type of people? What kind of things do they need to be looking for, or asking for, or asking the questions of when it comes to grooming, to advocate for their dog better?
Yeah, I mean, first thing I would suggest is, if you ask like AI, ChatGPT or wherever, just to sort of give a summary of your local groomers and see what words in the reviews are being used. So if the reviews are resonating with you, then it's more likely that this groomer is going to be, more on your wavelength or understand or what have you. I think that's the first thing. If you're not confident in sort of picking up and speaking to a groomer, a lot of if they're using words, like it, AI will summarize for you. I mean, I've done this with myself, which is not. I know that sounds awful.
No, I know what you mean.
Googling yourself, but no, I have to see actually what my reviews and what's a consistent theme or what have you. So it is very useful. You get an idea, and if it's all about the haircut, they've done a beautiful groom. It's not saying that the group, it might not be that they don't necessarily have the skills. They might be very skilled at the haircut, but maybe not so much for a sensitive dog. So that's the first port of call that you can do, which is quite unintrusive and uninvasive and quite easy to do. The second one is just to see whether or not the groomer will be open to just popping by with your dog just to say hello. To say that they are a sensitive. You can just message them if you don't want. I'm not a big fan of picking up the phone and asking questions. I think it's I find that quite daunting, but you could message, and that would be, and then you could just trust your gut. I think you'll have a lot of abilities of picking up on whether you feel that the environment's right for your dog. Your dog, you can see the dog in that environment. And if they are happy in that environment, just ask the groomer whether or not you could stay for the groom. Maybe not all of it, just a bit of it. And then at least you've got a gauge then of how willing this groomer is to work with you and your needs and your needs of your dog. I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that all of you said. I never thought about using AI in that way to kind of summarize the reviews and stuff. That's really useful, isn't it? And like you say, just going and messaging and asking the questions. And like you say, sometimes before you've even met them, you'll get a feel for what type of messages you get back and stuff.
Yeah.
You can get a feel for what type of business they're running. And it might just be for other reasons, like I say, it's finding the person and the service that's right for you, isn't it? Like with anything, like with agility training, with dog training, with grooming, with anything, it's like finding that person that is right for you and your dog, and that might take a few goes, really. So it's about being persistent, isn't it? And finding, they are out there. It's just sometimes we have to look a little bit harder, don't we?
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening who's wondering a little bit more about holistic grooming, where would you suggest they go to get a little bit more information?
Well, the first place I'd recommend is if you go on to school, SKOOL, there's the Holistic Grooming Academy. It's free to join. You can join as a dog carer or as a professional groomer. There's also a paid membership which you get different things, but there's loads of community things, challenges, loads of resources, videos. So it's quite a good way of just dipping your toe in, having a look around, seeing what's there without being you're not sold to, you're not pestered, like you can join in the chats if in the community groups if you want. If you don't, you can just go to the resources and have a look there. But that would be my first port of call. And that's also, you should be able to find if there is any local groomers as well near you, if you're a carer of a sensitive dog or a dog that requires that level of grooming. But yeah, it is quite, we've only just moved on over to school, but I love it already. It's just, have you been on it? It's
no, I've not.
It's really, I love it.
Super. Well, okay. If you send me the link to that, we can put that under the show notes as well. So if anybody wants it, they can just find it dead easy. So amazing. It's been fantastic speaking to you, and it's a subject that I could talk about all day long because the holistic side of dog care and dog behaviour is completely my bag. So what we normally do to wrap up the end of a podcast is to I'll ask you 5 quick fire round questions just to get to know you a little bit more. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Super. Right. The first one's dead difficult. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Yes, I'm on a roll. So I'm so excited in a minute because I'm on a roll with these team. My husband's team coffee and I'm team tea. And for ages, for all of series 1, more or less, of the podcast, everybody was team coffee, and I was like, no, but we're on a roll now with tea. Tea's leading the way.
You've got tea here,
Oh, so this one might be a little bit more difficult. So, what's your favourite dog breed if you had to pick one?
Oh God, you can't ask that. Well, I'm going to have to say mini schnauzer just because I do have a mini schnauzer. But yeah, I mean, I change my mind every 3 seconds. They're just they're all lovely. But yeah.
Okay, super. What's your go-to dog product that you use or recommend all the time?
Oh, it would have to be my Bass Porcupine Palm brush. Yeah, I mean that is basically never out of my hand. It feels that way. I haven't met a dog yet that doesn't like it. And because it's in your hand, it's very tactile and you feel like you're connected.
I love that. I've never heard of that. I'm going to look it up for my dogs. That sounds brilliant. I'm going to look that one up. Amazing. So when it comes to like walking your own dogs, would you prefer a lead walk or an off-lead adventure?
I like a bit of both, really, because I tend to, my dog, I let her go where she wants. So we go
Yeah.
out the house and I'm like, oh, which way are we going? And then usually she dictates which route we take. But yeah, so
Yeah.
but yeah, I like a bit of both, you know.
Yeah, amazing. And a lead walk where you can have a bit of off lead as well is a perfect scenario.
Yeah.
I love that as well. Like, it's nice to hear that somebody else does that as well. We do that. We go out of the house and we're like, which way should we go? And the walk is just literally dictated by them. And I think it's so important. That's a whole nother subject on its own, isn't it? But I think it's so important to let the walk. Who's the walk for? Is it for the
I
dog
mean,
or is it for
people
you?
look at me like I'm an idiot because I'll be going this way or that way, this way or that way, and then she'll
Yeah,
think, and then, you know, and people
I
think
know.
crazy.
Amazing. And the last one, what's your favorite way to recharge after a busy day?
Oh, it would have to be to recharge. Oh, probably binge watching a series that I'm really into at the moment. At the moment, we're doing the Traitor reruns, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
yeah, it just
Yeah.
we're binging those. So yeah, that's probably my favourite way to yeah,
Amazing.
recharge.
Love that. Love that. Now, it's been brilliant speaking to you. And the most important question of all, if people are wanting to know a little bit more about you, where can they find you? Where can they get in touch?
Well, I'm on social media, so I'm on Facebook, Wag-Wagatha Christie. I'm on Instagram. I think it's Wag-Wagatha Christie, but underscored instead of the hyphens. And my website, which is just Wag-Wagatha Christie .co.uk. Forgot then.
Amazing. So what we're going to do, we're going to put all of those links under the show notes as well, so people just click and get in touch with you. Amazing. Now, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I've really enjoyed speaking with you, and I'm sure that many listeners will relate to a lot of the things that we're saying, and hopefully we've given them a bit of food for thought as well when it comes to their own care and their own grooming for their own dog. So amazing. Thank you again for coming on, Vanessa. So if you are listening to the podcast for the first time, please make sure you hit follow or subscribe so you do not miss a future episode of the podcast, and go and have a look at previous episodes because I'm sure there'll be something in there that you enjoy as well. Thank you for watching.